any value you want to right here. The second calculated value option actually has to have that value in the viewing window for it to work, so not a big deal. You can always adjust the window to see any viewing value you want. You have to. Okay. Let's go back to this. The last question is going to require us to adjust this window because it says, predict the distance if the height is 50 feet. And that's a good question because a lot of people will put in 50 feet for the distance on the ground, and that's not what they're saying, right? They're saying, when is this thing 50 feet in the air? Well, believe it or not, it happens twice, right? Since the maximum height is in the 70s, it's got to go up through 50 and then come back down through 50. And all we can see in the viewing window right now is one trip up. We don't see the entire thing, so we need to stretch this window out a bit so we can see the rest of the behavior. How can I stretch the window out?
Zoom out.
Say again?
Zoom out.
Zoom out is not a bad idea, but I think a better idea is to go to Window, and on your X value, you see where it says 196? That's the maximum X value. Go ahead and take that all the way up to 230 or something in a graph, and you can see probably I just stretched out this way, and I could probably go a little bit more, but I'm going to hold off on that. Say that again?
On which one do we do it in?
Take a look at my window. We were trying to stretch the x-axis out, so I changed the x-max from what the calculator had put as 196 to my own of 230. And while I'm here, since I didn't really see all the behavior, maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger at this point. Let's make it 250. And then if I hit graph, I should see the whole trip. Close enough. Still didn't quite get it, did I? You know, I should have known better because the maximum happened at what value? 138. And since this is a parabola, it is symmetric. So the rest of the trip will also be 138. Add those together to get what? Almost 280. And what did I stop by now? Yeah, so I'm just a little shy. All right. When will this thing be 50 feet in the air? How in the world am I going to use the calculator to find that?
Y equals.
Go to y equals. So we have no y2. Put in a 50. Now watch what happens when I graph this thing. There's a line wherever you have 50 feet in the sky. How can I get the values from these two curves on those graphs? We're looking to see where they meet, aren't we? So we have two things to find. Second, calculate the intersection. Number 5. It is usually easier to move on a straight line. The up and down arrows will jump between curves, so if I push down, I'm on the straight line, and then to the left, I can get over there a little bit quicker.
What'd you do to, after graphing it?
Hit second, calculate,
Second calculate?
and then hit intersection, which is option 5. And then manipulate the cursor till you get on top of what. You're actually answering 3 questions here, but if you remember I told you just to hit enter 3 times, because the questions are going to be yes for every one. There's only 2 curves on there, and you moved it to the intersection, so yes, it's your first curve, yes, it's your second curve, and yes, it's your guess. Or the shortcut is enter, enter, enter. So at 53 feet, it's 50 feet in the air. When the value here is 53, it's 50 in the air. And of course, there's another one. Second, calculate the intersection. Go to the next. And at 223, not this round, it's different. I guess I can say 223.05. So those questions would be easily answered on the test. You would, if I asked you to predict the distance of the height when it was 50 feet, you would give me the answer of 53 and 223.05. just gave me one, and it would only be half correct, right? Okay, let me slow down at this point. Is there anything I can help anybody with?
So this is all that you're gonna be asking us on the.
All those types of questions, yes, but remember, the most important thing here, and when they're talking about this next, is I'm not going to tell you which regression to use. I'm gonna want you to figure out what the best one is, and maybe even explain your answer, although I've never done that in the past. May not start that yet.
Any questions on the test?
There's going to be at least 2 sets of data, and probably 4 or 5 questions associated with each. So, I don't know, test is a pretty strong word. Thinking more like quiz.
Is it gonna be multiple choice again?
Nope.
So what if our answers are a little off, because I got 224?
Yes, that's a good question. If you got 224 for yours, you got 224? You must have. You did? Let me see. Use trace, you will get something different than me. That will probably be a problem. Under the button trace, you can actually move this thing around just, well, I was able to land right on it there. But here I am saying don't do it, and it worked perfectly. Generally speaking, the trace doesn't land right on top of the intersection though. In other words, you'll get like 49.8, and the next one will be over, it'll be 51 points or 50 point something. It doesn't usually work. In other words, it's nice that it's landed on one of these pixels here, but the trace button doesn't really have a value finder, so it can only move from pixel to pixel, and it doesn't always get right on top. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can get a pretty good idea, but you won't get exact. Your best bet is to use the intersection finder so that it lands right on what you're looking for. Although 224 versus my 223.05, I would probably not mark that wrong, right? Again, this is all an approximation anywhere. 226 or 227, I would probably mark wrong. That's far enough away from the target that I would have to say something's wrong here. But if you were just one off, you know, I've been a couple off because of the rounding error. So I would just assume that it was either rounding error or you were just rounding up, and that's fine. All right.
How do I get a line through my,
Put in your y equals, on your y2.
when I'm at that, a line through my first,
Oh, you didn't get that yet?
I think that's,
You have to run through the process of putting the regression into there. I can show you that. That takes a couple minutes. We're going to do it again for this next set of data. So let's wrap this one up, and
Mr. Mayor,
yes.
if since there's only 8 questions on the test, is it gonna be out of 100 points or like out of 50? Because if it's 100, that means each question worth 12 points. And if you miss one, you might be,
Right.
miss 2, you get to C.
Right. If it was out of 50, then it would be the same.
You have 6 points each, you could miss one.
That means everybody gets a free 50 now. It will be enough questions, the point values of the questions will be dispersed in a way that you should do fine. Granted, if you miss one question on a 10 question, then you're already down to 90. There will be some key questions on here that will be worth more points than others, which that you will just have to get right. Not too hard to do.
Will this test be worth as much as the other ones?
Trust me, you want this. So far, this has not been difficult, right? My idea of a quick present to you, actually. I guess it could be bad if you don't like this stuff with the calculator. It could be bad. So let's wrap that one up and let's move over to the sheet here. I am going to post the answers to this one for all 4 on my door, and also hopefully on the internet. I haven't put any of this on the internet yet. So that you can try the remaining 3, because we're only going to do 1 here, and do it on your own and see if you get the same answers I get, okay?